Hi, happy snow day, and welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. So today's a snow day, and when you listen to this, it may not be a snow day, but today's a snow day. It's Monday, January 6th, about 10 a.m., and gosh, we've already got to me, it looks like 6 inches, but maybe my eyes are bigger than my stomach. No, that doesn't apply here, right? But you know what I mean. So I took Boris and Autumn outside. Boris had to circle the snow. He was kind of doing crazy eights for a good 10 minutes before he was willing to drop his kids off at the pool, if you will. So now they're running around crazy, and that's okay. It's okay, except for it's a little distracting. And then Autumn, I let her off leash. Shh, don't tell anybody in my neighborhood. I let her off leash and just our game is go, come, but go, come. And she just runs back and forth and she loves it. So we played go, come for like 10 minutes. So they both, I think, are really happy that it's a different day. It's a different kind of day, and there's a lot more energy. Probably because I have a lot more energy. I love snow days. There's a little boy that lives nearby, and I can't wait for him to go out and build a snowman. I can't go out there and build it with him, or else I'm the creepy neighbor. But it is super cute. And I was like, is it all right to build a snowman with dogs? I don't know. I bet you though that I could get Autumn to sled down a hill. I bet you that I could get her to sit on it. I don't know. That would take probably more than just a day to train her to do that. I'm not sure. But that would be pretty cool. Except for I don't have a sled. She'd have to maybe ride on a plastic bin lid or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It might not be worth trying. Today I wanted to talk about doing the minimum in order to succeed. And this has been the story of my life until I got sober. So when I think back to early in my life, I got pretty good grades in school, and I did not work terribly hard to get those grades. I didn't get all A's. If I were to work hard, I probably would have gotten um, all A's, I think. And I'm not trying to say I'm brilliant. I'm just saying that that's just how my experience was. Oh, I have to sneeze. Hold on. Sorry, bless me. So, I love sneezing. It's fantastic. Um, so that was school. College things started to get harder, and so I had to start doing more work. And I reached the point where when I was a senior in college and I was taking Calculus 5, that minimum work was not going to leave me successful. But I did it anyway, and a professor came up to me towards the end of the year and asked me if I was supposed to graduate this year. And that was at that time that I realized for a second that, oh, maybe I should have. I don't even know that it hit me. I just was like, I never thought that I wouldn't graduate because I failed a class or something like that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. But so the professor gave me a D, and I definitely did not earn that D. I think I failed every single test that I took, quiz and test in there. And I think we had to turn in our homework. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't deserve a D in that class. And somehow I graduated. And I don't know that, I mean, I'm happy that I graduated, but I didn't learn anything from that experience. I didn't learn that minimum wasn't going to cut it, you know? And then I went off to work and I finding a job was, I mean, not terribly difficult, but I ended up getting a job that was easy to get. I didn't look for a job that was for my major. I mean, I think maybe I casually looked, but I didn't try very hard to look for a job that I loved or anything like that. I just found someone that would take me. I had no concept of being deserving of a job that would make me happy. I had no concept of finding a job in my field. Um, I just thought I needed to find a job. So, that's unfortunate because I feel like my life could have gone in a different direction as far as career goes. But, you know, that was my that was the way things were for me. I just like accepted things for face value and I wasn't going to try any harder than I needed to get the minimum of what needed to happen. And I needed money in order to pay my bills. That was it. And I didn't have any bills until I my boyfriend, who ended up being my husband, and I were gonna have a baby, the best baby. And that's when I really started to, that was when my life started on a new trajectory that I wanted to provide more than the minimum for my son. So that concept started to be born in me where I wanted my son to have a better life than just existing. I didn't want to just keep him alive. I wanted him to flourish. I wanted him to have everything he could possibly have. And unfortunately, since I didn't have that concept early on, I didn't really have any experience with getting more than the minimum of what I needed. So I wasn't experienced with doing that, with sorry, my words are not right. Um, I, sorry, I can't complete that thought. It happens to me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I worked harder. I tried to reach a little bit further. But still, because of that lack of experience, I didn't know how far I was capable of reaching. Um, and at this time, as you know, I was drinking. I was drunk through my whole college career, and it was really, really elevated my senior year. And it never went down. Like when I graduated, I wasn't like, okay, that was my, teenage, early 20s years where I got to experiment and stuff. Now we're getting down to business. I need to grow up. And no, there was none of that. I just kept going and I kept going until I was 42. Like I never stopped being that quote unquote party person. Um, Not that I never was um wild and crazy at all. I just really liked my alcohol and I was going to do whatever it took to get my alcohol. go wherever I needed to go to get my alcohol. And I definitely proved that, unfortunately. Um, so that idea of reaching for the minimum, it always really was the foundation of my work ethic. And that's too bad, you know. I do not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Um, because without that, I wouldn't be where I am today, without that experience. So I have come to appreciate the value of those experiences in my life. They really showed me what not to do in life. And I think that those experiences, now that I'm on the other side of it and I'm sober, um, they help me to be a mom. And who knows how good I'm doing. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job because both of my kids are not in jail. Um, they both have a significant other that they care very, very much about, that they love. And I feel like that is successful. They both have jobs. I'm not one of those moms, obviously, that is like, you don't have a worthwhile job if you're not, um, gosh, working at NASA or, you know, a government contractor, or you're not a quote unquote, like a career person, meaning like you're not a lawyer, you're not a doctor, you're not like, I don't feel like my kids need to become something that has a name, um, to be successful. But I don't know if that's good or bad. I feel like I'm giving my kids the flexibility to be and do whatever they can. And I don't know, you know, I've seen other parents. My kids have been friends with other with my kids have been friends with other kids who have parents who have pushed them to the extreme. And I've seen what that does also. I've seen the effects that are still present today in some of those young adults. And so I don't know what the right way and the wrong way is. I just know the way that I chose to do it and the way that my experiences in my life has led me to mother. Um, so when I got into my sobriety program, I realized that my life had to change, that I needed to stop drinking. I realized that. But and I heard everybody saying you need to take all suggestions, you need to do the next right thing. Um, you should get a sponsor, you need to have a home group, you need to maybe you need to go to a professional addiction therapist or something. Autumn is behind me. You can't see her on the video, but she's standing right behind me. Let's turn on the video, shall we? So people who are looking at the video can see her beautiful. There she is. Hi. Hello. Hello. hmm We love you, Autumn. Okay. Oh, and there's Boris. He decided to come over and say hi. You're welcome, people who watch the video. They're worth watching more so than me in my rose-colored glasses. They're too cute. I can't get them both in the picture. There we go. Okay. So when I got into the program, I heard all of those things that I needed to do, but I thought, okay, you people need to do all of that stuff. I can just show up at meetings. Um, until I was showing up to meetings and I kept drinking. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I need to do a little more. I'll get a big book, which is the main literature front and center of Alcoholics Anonymous. Maybe I'll get the big book. So I got the big book, and my big book has a ring on the cover of it, which is because I used it as a coaster for my wine glass. So you see what purchasing, well, I didn't purchase it, somebody gave it to me. The big book. If I didn't open it, I was still drinking. So I'm like, okay, I'll read what's in this thing. So I hate reading. So I opened it up and I read a couple things. And when I read a couple things, I was like, wow, this this is speaking my language. This is what this is expressing as what these people are thinking are what I think. That's crazy. But I kept drinking. So you get my drift. Like, I just kept adding a little something. Okay, let's see if I stay sober now. Okay, I'll get a sponsor. Let me see if I get sober now. I had a couple sponsors and I still, not at the same time, but I went to AA. I had the big book. I got a sponsor, but I didn't stop drinking. And that happened a couple times. I had a couple sponsors where I didn't quit and then I stopped going to the meetings. So fast forward, I mean, that behavior lasted several years before I reached the point where I thought, I'm gonna die if I don't do something about this. And that's when I started getting to that, like what I was talking about yesterday, where I thought, God help me, because I've run out of options. Those were all the options. Me adding the minimum, my minimum kept being added additional things that I needed to do to get sober, but none of them did it. So what ended up happening is I had to do, and I was not familiar with how to do this. I had to do everything that I was told. Everything. Absolutely everything. Autumn's trying to lay down behind me. Let's see how that works. Um, she's digging. She's digging. So I ended up having to actually go to detox. I never fathomed that I would have to go to such drastic measures to get sober, because that was drastic to me to be admitted into a facility with freaking nurses, and not only did I have to go and be admitted in there, but I had to be on a walker for 3 days. Like, and even then, people, even then, I thought that it was the nurses, the doctors, whoever those people were, that were causing me to be on a walker. I felt like the medication that they were giving me was making me off balance. And it didn't matter if they told me that I was going through withdrawal and that's why I couldn't walk, and why my head was all wacky, because they gave me they give you a few things in there, and I can't, naltrexone, which was to handle the craving. Trazodone was to help with sleep. Um, Gosh, I feel like that was all I got, but I might not be remembering what it was. But I blamed them for making me feel that way. I just was in an alternate universe. So when I went to detox, the first time, I did the same freaking thing. I did the minimum. Even for the first, I said the other day, like for the first 3 days, I didn't participate in meals because I was on a walker. So they brought me my food. And I mean, I showed up to like when we had our creative art session because I liked art. And I went to the meetings, like some people from the program came in and brought meetings into the facility. And I think I shared, I don't remember a lot of that, but I did the minimum. I was told that I needed to go to an addiction therapist, that I needed to go to IOP and all of that. And I was like, I have a job. I can't go to IOP. I don't have money to go to a therapist. Like I was so busy making excuses for myself to do the minimum that that was closed-minded about what was actually going to work for me. I wasn't willing to do whatever it took. And with that having happened, I drank like 2 months. I don't even know if I made it that long, but 2 months after detox, and I drank for another 8 months. Um, so the second time when I went into detox after my daughter said it's okay to try again because she knew that I had been hiding drinking. Everybody knew that I was hiding drinking, and I just stopped showing up for work, for life. I just stopped. Drinking became the first most important thing in my life, and everything else was falling apart. My bills, everything, my relationships, everything, with my loved ones, my friends. So I went back. And when I went back, I had, I guess, subconsciously made a decision that I was going to do whatever it took, that I was going to do whatever suggestions were given to me, everything, everything, because I tried to do things my way and it didn't work. So I tried to do the minimum again and it didn't work. So I had to do everything. So I got a therapist, I got a home group, I got a sponsor. I just kept doing it. That's when I stopped listening to that voice in my head that says, you don't want to do this. You're nervous to do this. You're afraid to do this. You don't want to do this. I turned off my wanter and I stopped listening to that voice that, that I definitely thought was me, until I read this recent book. But me is the person now who listens to the voice and says, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm going to do the next right thing instead. And that has been my sobriety, this sobriety that I'm in right now. It's been since April 28th, 2016. That is fascinating. I mean, we're in 2025 and I have not had a drink of alcohol or a mind-altering drug in all of that time. I mean, I can't believe that, but yet when I think about how much happier I am to be alive, it's so much more enjoyable. It's hard to explain. It's so much more enjoyable to be present. Like when I went out in the snow with the dogs this morning, I was present. It almost feels like I'm present in an additional dimension that I wasn't present before. It's like before my body was there. I saw the happiness. I felt what I thought was joy for, it's a snow day. How fun is that? But for me, when I was drinking, a snow day was, oh, freaking yay. I can drink all day and I don't have any responsibilities. Um, or I get to go out in the snow and drink and I'll just come back when I need more alcohol. And like drinking was still the priority. when there was a snow day. And today I was out there with Autumn and I was like literally jumping up and down um, for her playing come go with her. And it was so fun. She was so happy. And um, Boris actually got a little silly. He was like, sometimes he'll be, even when it's not snowing, he'll like all of a sudden have this charge of energy, and you can almost tell that it's about to happen. He's just standing still, and all of a sudden he will just, his body drops so it's more aerodynamic or something, aerodynamic. And he just starts freaking hauling ass, starts running. So it was just really, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's another dimension of life that I didn't I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to get it. And I have another half of my life to live with this additional dimension present. So I heard somebody mention the term soul sickness in my meetings this morning. And I get that, what that is referencing, that we have a soul sickness. It's like the despair has created a chasm, like a hole inside of me that that's just freaking empty. And I need to put something inside it. And as I talked about yesterday, that spirituality, that first moment where I reached out for help, um, that was when I let one star into that chasm. I let one beam of light go into that dark place and light it up ever so slightly. Um, Today, I don't feel that chasm. I feel like sometimes I feel a heaviness, and I know that when I have that heaviness, that goes back to a few days ago. I need to reach out to my sponsor. I need to remember what it felt like a few days ago when I called my sponsor, talked to her for a half an hour, got off the phone and was like, it's gone. That that heaviness, the worry, the frustration, the sadness, it's just gone. Just because I called my sponsor and pulled that stuff up, that ickiness up, looked at it, talked about it, and then was able to let it go. Another thing I heard this morning was don't drink, don't think, go to meetings. When something is really bothering me, um, sometimes I will try to turn off my thinker. I'll start listening to audiobooks obsessively. And I think that there's good and bad about that. I think it allows me to manage being able to turn on and off my thinker, the thinker being the thing that voice that's telling me all the wrong things to do. I get to turn off that thinker, and I get to either listen to audiobooks. I'm listening to a really good one right now. It's called oh boy. I know you love when I do that. Devil in the White City. That's what it is. And I can listen to books, turn off my thinker. I can do my hobbies. So those of you who are friends with me on Facebook and Instagram, I don't know if it went on Instagram or not because I still don't know how those things work, but I made sweaters, matching sweaters for my dogs out of another sweater, and it's freaking adorable. Oh, actually, I didn't post that on Facebook for certain reasons as to where I got the sweater from. But if you want to see it, like, and I haven't sent it to you, send me an email and I'll send you a picture of the two of my bulldog and my Weimaraner in their matching sweaters because it's hilarious. Um, so doing things like that, doing my painting, I have so many opportunities to turn off my thinker when it's not healthy, when it's telling me lies and stuff. And I can not drink and go to meetings or do these hobbies and do these things that make me happy. Um, I heard somebody else say, and I'll end with this, I am deserving of happiness today. And that is something that when I was doing the minimum, I did not believe, whether it was consciously or subconsciously, that I was deserving of the greatest happiness that I can achieve. I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't think I was capable of it. And today I know that the harder I work in sobriety, the harder I work in life, the more rewarding, the more joy and happiness that I feel. And that is exciting. It gives me something to always look forward to. So I need to remember that today, actually. So thanks for listening. I hope if you are having a snow day today when you're listening to this, go outside and build a snowman. I might, I don't, maybe I won't do it with the dogs or with the neighbor, but I'm freaking going outside and I'm going to do something that a kid would do in the snow. And I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for listening and I'll talk to you tomorrow.